Hey folks, Ivan Joseph here. Today I want to share with you some thoughts about leadership, and more specifically about leading in the times of emergency or a crisis. We all know that leading is tough at the best of times, let alone when there's an emergency or a crisis. It's at those times that organizations need quick and immediate and urgent decision making. They need to be nimble. And what happens is typical policies and processes and standard operating procedures get suspended. And if you're like me, sometimes feelings can get hurt when those things happen. And the first time you're like, yeah, okay, I can understand. And the second time you get a little bit more bothered and a little bit more hot under the collar. And by the third time, it's something you want to have an angry response and reply to. And so when I find myself getting in that situation and about to send out a message that I can't take back, it's those times I take the moment to remember the power of the pause. And what I mean about the power of the pause is taking 24 hours, 48-hour rule, to before you respond with something that will just erode the relationship that you have. In fact, I remember reading about this in a book by Dale Carnegie, in a story he wrote about Abraham Lincoln. In Abraham Lincoln, they found in his possessions, after he had passed away, an angry response and letter to a general. And the general had made some mistake that Lincoln referred to as had prolonged the war. In fact, he wrote, "I am immeasurably disappointed by your actions." But Lincoln never sent the letter. The great orator, the great statesman, the person who brought people together, probably took a moment to think better of it and say, this will damage the relationship that I need from this general who will help me moving forward. But notice, he didn't keep it inside. He didn't keep it all bottled up like a ticking time bomb waiting for it to explode. He wrote that letter to himself and he never sent it. Sometimes we need to find a partner to vent these frustrations to. Sometimes it's a trusted confidant outside of our organization, or sometimes it's just an email to ourselves, just to get that message out until we're ready to approach the situation with grace. Remember, everybody is trying to do the best they can in times of emergency or crisis. If we keep that in mind, when we're writing that response or about to issue those words that come out of our mouth, it will help us to remember to give them the grace they need and ultimately do what's best for the organization. The next time you're in an emergency or in a crisis, you feel yourself emoting energy, you feel yourself hot under the collar, or your blood pressure is rising, remember the power of the pause. Thanks, folks. Appreciate you tuning in.